Hello and welcome back to this week's Talking Ads. We are joined by another guest. Alex is going to introduce him. He is on the webcam, so this is a bit different to other weeks.
Yeah, and he's disappeared already, so it's got a great start. So we're going to have a really a nice reveal. Here he is. So this is Craig Campbell, who I met once very briefly. Craig was speaking in Cambridge, but we'd been chatting on LinkedIn. And I was asking Craig some advice on speaking, things like that. And I think, you know, when there's a nice guy, when they're happy to give you advice behind closed doors, if that kind of makes sense, and not try and make it a big thing and be like, do it all public. So that was a really big thing for me. And if you know, I think a lot of people know Craig already, but what I love about his speaking is he doesn't just say or regurgitate what Google says about SEO. He does what works for him, whether that's popular or not. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. Fair to say I get a lot of criticism as well, but you've got to take the rough with the smooth. Not everyone agrees, but
yeah, no, absolutely.
Doing what works for me.
That's it, and you can only do what works for you. And then and there are, like I think you mentioned at that Cambridge talk, there are people that just repeat what Google says, and it just becomes this whole Chinese whispers of things. And there's a load of misinformation out there, especially with SEO. So I'm hoping with our talking about ads, you'll be as forthright as you are with your SEO stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. So I've seen your ads, but the guys haven't, and obviously everyone else hasn't. So can you give us a bit of a tease as to what you've brought with you?
So I asked around just in my office as to what would be good ads, and you know what we had is people saying the Marks and Spencer ads and stuff, which I don't want to go down that route because they've obviously got massive budgets. I just wanted to get ads that either get the point home. So one of the ads is one that gets the point right home. It's a smoking ad from years ago, and it's. Do you want me to describe the ad here in full, or?
That's all right. Bit of I think people will. I mean, I remember seeing it. It's a quite, and then I think the title of it is graphic smoking ad, isn't it? And then I think so.
It's it gets the point home for me anyway. It does. So you'll see that one. We'll discuss that. There's a second one which is just about funeral plans, and you've got these kind of cartoon characters waving and stuff. It just doesn't sell funerals to me. It's just garbage. And the last one is one that probably a lot of people know, of a guy walking about with denim shorts and high heels on in the ad, and I have really no idea of what the purpose of that part was, but maybe you guys could enlighten me.
Yeah,
so that's the ads.
Plenty to chat about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, do you want to give us a sneak peek of what you've got as well?
Yeah, so one that I got targeted on Instagram. It's a one of these sort of like new fintech companies that does like a money management app. Just a few things in the ad that I did actually quite like. So yeah, that's what I'll be talking through today.
I'm bringing another Instagram ad as per usual, but this one was I've had another ad from them, from The Mix, and I saw another ad which I wasn't overly keen on until I realised what it was about, and then we actually got in touch with them and spoke about it and whatnot, and then another one came up on my feed, and it was I really liked it, and actually it's very suitable for today because it's World Mental Health Day. So and this is all about mental health and whatnot. So yeah, I think that's a good one for today.
Yeah, awesome. So Craig, you probably haven't seen it, but we absolutely slated an ad that it was like a social media one in our feed, and we were really quite brutal. And then it turns out it was a charity that helps like teenage girls that are being like not abused but are in difficult situations with their partner. So like when then we went onto the website and it was like, I think we've been a little bit harsh. And then all credit to the guy. We said, look, this is some really interesting feedback for you. We knew nothing about the brand, and the ad just didn't work because of that. It works if you know who the brand are. So it was like really interesting. And then I'm trying to get him on. But yeah, I don't think he likes us that.
We'll see.
So yeah, and I've I've got two ads. So there's like a concept I talk about when I'm speaking about psychology, about contrast and having good and bad next to each other. So I've got two examples of that. One is too subtle. It works really well if you look at it for a long time, but because it's flying through your feed, I just think it gets lost. And the other one's like really blatant and quite obvious. So I thought it was interesting to see contrast those two ads together. I've also, last week, I bought those socks, and I was going to show you them, but they're right over there. I don't know if you can reach them, Tom, under that.
Yeah, I'm going to.
We had an ad from a sock company in America, and I bought the guy's socks. So it's not really that exciting if you've not seen a pretty amazing pair of socks there. Basically, the guy, he set up a sock business with his father. He's got Down syndrome. But we were like comparing two sock companies together, and like one was like a really fake advert, and his story was amazing. And I bought his socks, and they're all the way from America, so pretty cool.
Nice.
I was going to wear them, but I thought it'd be a bit awkward getting my
Lego.
foot up. So, which one would you like to start with, Craig?
The cigarette one.
Yeah, cigarette one. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to bring that over. I do remember this one, and then as soon as I saw the title,
What's another word for this song?
technical issues. Hang on.
JR, we know there's a million things you'd rather be thinking about than going funerals.
The other advert's playing in the background.
Planning place means
Hang on. Brilliant. I was in the Scouts. Always be prepared. Okay, so we'll play the one that we're meant to play, and I think because I'm just going to rewind this for everyone. There we go.
When you smoke, the chemicals you inhale cause mutations in your body. And mutations are how cancer starts. Every 15 cigarettes you smoke will cause a mutation. If you could see the damage, you'd stop.
So yeah, that one's. I don't think you probably saw that your end, Craig. But you can obviously remember what.
Yeah.
It's pretty graphic, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's graphic to the point it wouldn't personally put me off of smoking. Not that I'm a smoker, but I think it. Yeah, it's one of those ones that gets the point across right away without saying too much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You don't have to physically say, "I'll stop smoking." That's not powerful enough, is it? Stop smoking because it will destroy your insides or whatever. But yeah, that really makes you cringe and think, I don't smoke either. I don't think you guys do.
No, and it totally sort of like de-glamorises smoking as well, isn't it? In terms of sort of like around the back of the house kind of thing. It doesn't look, you don't really think like, oh yeah, I wish that was me kind of thing. Because they could do it into the, if you were to advertise smoking in a way that I know you can't really do it as much as you could. But in terms of obviously you'd always put people in social situations, so that in terms of flipping it totally on its head is pretty grim, I think.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's certainly not one I like watching back on a regular basis. It could be, that's for sure.
It's pretty revolting. So yeah, it's great that you. Yeah, I think the point is, and why it works so well is just showing you, literally how disgusting it is, and I think like you say, de-glamorizing. It's not a cool thing to do behind the bike shed or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's much else you could add to that to make it more powerful, could you?
No. Yeah, good advert.
I know they started, there was like a big debate because people who did smoke had a problem with these graphic ads, and I think that I saw it like I think it was on BBC, and like on the actual cigarette packet, their graphics are getting worse or something, or they're getting a bit more like that to put people off, and people who smoke, I think, were getting a bit annoyed, and I didn't really get that, because it's kind of, they're like, oh, we don't need to see that, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
But you kind
That's
of
sort of the point, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's the point, and yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's a
exactly.
bit
Yeah,
more-
so you know it's working.
Yeah.
If the smokers are saying, yeah, this is awful.
Yeah, there was a bit of controversy
yeah.
around it, definitely.
And I remember at the time watching it on TV thinking, oh, yeah, that's not going to make me want to smoke.
Yeah.
So I hope it worked. I hope it put a load of people off and a load of people stopped from it. I suppose it's hard to quantify that, can you? Like if cigarette sales have dipped or it's a bit hard to quantify, definitely, but yeah. And they could run that stuff again as YouTube advertising if they wanted to, you know, the NHS.
Yeah.
Especially, and they could target young people with that. I think that would work really well as a YouTube advertising. I suppose you would want to skip though. It's probably the problem.
Yeah.
You're not like forced to watch it, are you? But yeah, love it.
Cool. Tom, we'll go with your ad.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I finally learned how to do the screen record on your phone this week. So yeah, mine sort of like shows me kind of like scrolling through. On Instagram, it's a what do you call it, like a multiple image ad, almost like a carousel on Facebook, like you would have on Facebook. But yeah, so this is Yolt. Yolt's one of these sort of like new fintech companies. Basically, what Yolt does, it takes all your sort of like bank accounts and puts them into one. So you can manage your money from one sort of individual app.
I just thought Craig can't see our screen, so he's like, "What's going on?" So if you bear
So I'll describe it for you, Craig.
yeah. I think you might be able to see our screen as well now, Craig. Can you?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Sorry about that. It's the first time we've had a remote guest on, so we're learning. Okay, so I'm just trying to. I've got a MacBook Pro. It's still going crazy under all the. Right. So Tom, while we're waiting for that, oh no, there you go.
So yeah, so it's essentially it kind of syncs all your accounts to one view. I really like how kind of like the images, how like the branding's really good. I do scroll back through them, but yeah, in terms of I like the product, I like what it does, and I like how sort of like simple the whole ad is, because that's essentially what they're selling is the simplicity,
Right.
and that's actually screen's interesting. It's interesting as you sort of go through the carousel that the third screen or the third slide is actually a call to action. Which you don't really see often in kind of like carousel ads, really. I don't know if you roll it again. But yeah, in terms of I like what it's selling. I like sort of how they sort of like manage both the screenshot of what you're going to get and the message both in the image, because that's sort of like equally important in Instagram, where you have such sort of like limited text. When you think about how you actually scroll through it, you actually see the image before you see the content, unlike you do sort of like in other ads. So they get it all well in the image. And yeah, no, I find the call to action on slide 3 like quite an interesting thing, not something we've sort of considered before really. But it's a bit like with videos, when you go through videos, you actually have the call to action sometimes, you know, maybe 10 seconds in if that's your average watch time. So yeah, I thought it was a good ad. I thought the only thing it was maybe sort of lacking, because it's sort of talking about, you know, consolidating your bank accounts all into one view, is almost like the credibility of it. In terms, because you would say, why wouldn't I have it? If you know what I mean, if the product is that good. But it is kind of that little bit about, you know, do I trust it with sort of my bank account details? I'm normally sort of, you know, fairly chilled out about those kind of things, but I think that's maybe just one thing, the credibility thing, they miss a little bit.
Yeah. I saw another ad for another similar thing, and I almost brought it on actually, but I've never used any of these things. I just feel like I don't know if there needs to be like a stronger reason to do it than just manage my money, make my life easier. It just feels like I need something else to.
Yeah, because I think I have my bank app as it is.
Yeah,
so I sort of think,
and I've only got like the business Barclays business and my personal NatWest, so I don't know why I would sort of need it. What do you think, Craig? Do you use any apps for your banking? Like
I'm similar to yourself. I just have, you know, the business account and my own personal account, and it does the job, and that's it. You know, the ad itself looks good and stuff, but it certainly wouldn't make me, you know, want to dig about more and find out more about what that does. If I'm being honest, it's I mean, as I say, simple ads are good, and stuff like that. But I just don't think the ad, you know, grabs my attention that well.
Yeah, I think it's nicely designed. I think I agree with both you and Tom that it's nicely designed. Looks good, looks fine, but I feel like I need more of a reason than just to track my bills. I feel like
It's almost, do you go the other way in terms of you actually sort of say it's actually like a budgeting tool, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then in terms of, then you get a bit more value out of it rather than just seeing your accounts in one place.
That's the other ad that I saw. It was how much money you've got left for spending money.
Yeah,
how
that's
much
what, yeah.
it broke down, all those, and then that felt more of a reason than.
I think I've seen that one actually proactively tells you you've got 100 quid left for this week.
Yeah.
And that's actually useful without you having to actually go in to sort of find
Absolutely.
it.
No, definitely. So, yeah, no, I totally agree. And then targeting with that, I've never looked into anything like that, so I don't know if they're just blanket targeting anyone of a certain age.
Yeah, maybe.
On Facebook or Instagram, I don't really know on that one. It's a bit
Might be an
hard.
interesting in app downloads and
Yeah, maybe. 'Cause you've got a few.
if they can target you on banking or something, maybe.
Cool. All right.
So yeah, that's that.
We'll try and play. Should we do the funeral plan? Craig, do you think?
Yeah, why not?
I must admit, I cringed when I watched this. So let's bring it over. Oh, and then the other one's playing.
Dave saved money on these cups.
This is a very professional show. Where we, okay, right. So
What's another word for thesaurus? What's for tea? Who did shoot JR? We know there's a million things you'd rather be thinking about than your own funeral. That's why having a Foster's prepaid plan in place means you don't have to. They're the lowest cost, fully guaranteed plans in Scotland. And with absolutely everything pre-arranged, prepaid and taken care of, you'll be free to worry about the more important things in life.
so I still cringed, even though I've seen it before. Yeah, I mean, you start with your comments, Craig.
I mean, for me, obviously when you are saying, saying that an ad you think is good or bad,
Yeah.
that is absolute shite as far as ads go. It's in terms of ads, the budget that must have went into that looks, very minimal.
Yeah.
But going back to the previous ad I said where the point hits home, that ad there, it doesn't really do anything. It's just very bland. Stick men walking about with, a kind of funeral director's outfit on really doesn't make me want to invest in my funeral. So I think something, along the lines of don't leave it to your, family or whatever. Something a bit.
Yeah.
Something. I think that style of ad, people are not just going to jump on you and you've got all these cartoons waving at you and think, oh, I need to, organise my funeral. It's just garbage. It's one of the worst ads I've ever seen. I just don't get the point of it. Don't get the logic behind it. All I can think is it's low budget and they've not been able to come up with any creative ideas to make people want to purchase a funeral.
No, absolutely. And I think for me, I probably say it every week that people buy from people. Why couldn't the team, or even because with funeral plans you are going to ring up a call centre to speak to someone initially, so whether it's the person that I'm going to speak to or whether it's the funeral company I'm going to deal with, why couldn't it be them rather than cartoons? Because again, like you said, it looks awful. And then why did they there's two messages like 20% or 18% cheaper than the co-op, and then another stat about cheaper than the co-op, but not a percentage. It was the same message on two posters.
Yeah.
About the co-op, and that was it. We're cheaper than the co-op, and there's nothing to it. No sort of reasons why to take a funeral plan, because there's so many reasons that people don't know that if I was to die tomorrow, I didn't have a probate plan, my family wouldn't get my inheritance money straight away. It could take 6 to 9 months, and a funeral could cost for £2,000, £4,000. The cost of that increases year on year. You can fix in today's rate. There's so many messages for funeral plans, and like you say, you just got nothing from that except from really awful music and a voiceover that just didn't work. Didn't work, did it?
I know, pretty creepy at the end when the three of them were sort of looking at you and they've got
I
black
thought
eyes.
It was creepy. Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
it was a
like,
bit-
like the dead taking you when
Yeah.
you're dead kind of thing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I think if anything, that's sort of an advert that put you off rather than.
Yeah, terrifying. Yeah.
Did you see that as a YouTube ad, or do you know how you first saw it, or was it someone?
It was on Scottish TV a lot.
Oh right,
I don't know if it was on TV down there. But
Yeah.
one of those, it was in between Coronation Street or whatever, and you're watching it going, what the bloody hell is someone thinking of that? So, yeah, it was on TV for a while.
Brilliant. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, for something so sensitive,
Yes.
a sensitive subject, I think you've got to be so careful with an ad, and you've got to, as you said, Craig, you've kind of got to, as bad as it sounds, you've got to kind of pull on the heartstrings to make people want to invest in their funeral plan. So if you're going to do something that's almost laughable, you think, well, it just is never going to work.
But it's one thing having a low budget, but then it's like something else, not putting any thought in. Like I think that Alex said in terms of there's just no sort of thought gone into almost like the storyboarding of it or anything. It's just
no, there isn't.
Yeah.
Garbage.
I love that. Okay, so if I haven't put your ad in the correct folder.
Oh, okay.
How did you send it to me?
Skype.
Skype. Okay, I have done it. So we might just jump to mine while I find Sophie's ad. Oh, we've got it. Oh, okay, great. No, we have got it, so we can.
So this was one I saw. I know I bring an Instagram ad every week, but it's because I do spend. It's where I spend most of my. If I'm on my phone, that's where I'll be. I'm not big on Facebook at all. Twitter, I don't really find I get many ads on there. So it's quite interesting how I do find all of my ads on Instagram. I don't know whether it's because I prefer that or whether it's just because that's where I spend most of my time. So yeah, this one we'll play it and then
Cool.
you can all kind
just
of...
coming like with Instagram as well. I find it the hardest platform to advertise on because what I like about Facebook is you get your text at the top and then your image, and you can put quite a lot of text. Whereas with Instagram, it's literally you start with the image, and you still have those Facebook rules of like 20% text. So you've got to have a different approach, I think, for Instagram. You've got to have a different. Some people just whack it on Instagram and Facebook. But I think you've got to have a completely different approach.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's interesting you said, because in terms of I see better ads on Instagram because I think people that do it on there have to, well, in terms of sometimes you see better ads in terms of if they've spent more time putting an ad together specifically for Instagram.
Yeah.
I think it looks better than, like you said, in terms of the ones that from Facebook just carry over. Whereas some of the Facebook ones I see just all look a bit samey. Okay. So Instagram, you do find something a bit different.
Cool. Right. So.
Hi. Thanks for being here today. I really appreciate it. Young people do have it hard, and when I'm feeling really low and I get a knockback, I just don't want to come out of my room. But then there's sometimes when I get knocked back and it makes me want to go, I'm going to get at the best of this. So it does really depend on how you're feeling, I guess, but I just feel like knockbacks are good. I think it's a really important part of becoming better at things and trying harder at stuff.
Yeah, and to learn from.
Yeah, definitely.
To build yourself up.
You don't learn if everything's always perfect.
Yeah.
Just basically went to the session and told the writer that I was writing with all of the stuff I feel insecure about and all the weird things that I do behind closed doors that I don't think anyone else does. And that became what the song was. And it's weird because when I perform it live, there's so many people that relate to it and do the same weird things that I thought I was the only one who did those.
So the reason why it caught my attention was because a few episodes back we bought, as Alex has explained, I bought one along and I didn't get it. It was a cartoon kind of figure. And then when I saw this, it just, you can't see the caption. It's quite a long caption, which is probably one of the downsides, I would say. But that is just promoting their service and that they're there if someone wants someone to talk to. And I think they've used, Anne-Marie, she's a famous musician. They've used somebody in the public eye who people are going to stop and listen to. I did.
Yep.
I thought the interviewer in the video did really well.
Yeah.
She seemed if you wanted to talk to somebody, you probably want to talk to her because she was very, I don't know, she seemed really nice. And I think that is so much better than the one they brought before. And that, from seeing that and reading the caption, although it is a bit long, you know exactly what they do. And you're almost, even if you don't have any problems or anything, you almost think, oh, it's a nice thing, a nice charity, and
Yeah.
it's just good. I just think that is so much better, the video, than the kind of cartoony
Yeah, no, definitely.
ad they did before, which didn't really have any message. And I think
Yeah.
naturally a video does give you more of a message because you've got that conversation. But yeah, I just really liked it, and as it today, it is World Mental Health Day, and I think it was only saw it a few days ago, so I think they've kind of sussed that out, and obviously
cool.
this will be a time when, you know, they might have more people approach them, and yeah, I just thought it was good, not too sad or kind of too like
It's
kind of
upbeat, wasn't it? It was
cringy.
quite
Yeah,
upbeat, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, no, nice. So yeah, great. That was the company that we slagged off a lot before, and then I suppose they're fortunate that Amory was probably maybe as part of if you think about the scroll factor, that people
Definitely.
recognise her. I mean, I didn't straight away. I kind of guessed it from the song in
Yeah.
the background.
Yeah.
But for the target market, great. Fortunate for them to be able to get her. But even if it wasn't her, I still think, going back to people buy from people, being able to see that it's like you're not the only one. There is people to talk to. That's definitely the message that they nailed it, I think.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, the song, it's very clever to use that song. It's probably one of her most well known. And as you said, you stopped. And when I was scrolling, as you kind of scroll through an Instagram ad, so it depends how your sound is, if it's on or not. It will play at you, and it's kind of like, oh, it was kind of like, oh, and then it's like, well, what's this? Then you've immediately got that kind of interest.
Yeah, I like the film, the interview as well, rather than her just sort of like talking at the camera, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A little bit like we do now, and when we sort of, you know, chop
Yeah.
this up and put it into remarketing feeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
It works in a similar sort of way, I think. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And it's also good, as I say, they didn't play on the heartstrings too much either, which I think is important. You know, I think a lot of these things they always play on the sob stories, which is obviously, you know, there are sob stories out there and they can work, but I think adding, you know, something a bit more upbeat is certainly a positive thing.
Absolutely. I did a sponsored sleep out in Cambridge earlier this year, and it was for a charity, like a homeless kids charity, and their video is you do not see the kids homeless at all. The charity is they organise a World Cup in Russia alongside the World Cup for homeless people, and it was just so upbeat, and that made me want to get involved more than any other charity ad I've ever seen, because it was like all the positives. It was like these kids, they don't have a passport, they don't have a home, but they can go and represent their country at a World Cup, and I was like, I want to help.
Yeah.
That because of the positive of it. So yeah, just reminded me of
Yeah,
that.
good.
So yeah. It's like flipping it on its head. Like, we're so used to those Oxfam adverts with the narration and everything being bleak and horrible and stuff. That,
It's
it is awesome.
Yeah, ads do it all the time. You see all the ones with, you know, dogs and all that being abused and left to starve, and it in my opinion, it becomes a bit of a pain because everyone's just like got their all the charities have got their begging bowl out as such, and I think, you know, what you said there is flipping it on its head and adding a positive element to it is something that would certainly encourage me to be involved.
No, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. We don't do any sort of agency work for charities, but I think if we ever did, we would try and, you know, work on that side of things, because so many people work on the negative there. It just makes you feel good as well. And then if you feel good, and then if you want people to inspire action rather than just money, I think you can get like, if it's like a volunteering type thing, you want to help and you can see the benefits of it. I think that would work.
We do some stuff in terms of even when if we do some like insurance stuff that's, you know, the bleakest of like life insurance or critical illness, in terms of you focus on like the positive and the aspirational side of it rather than kind of like the you know fear of death side of it really.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Craig will go for your final video.
We'll see if we can get it some words. There isn't another one to play in the background, so we should be alright. Yeah, I think, like you say, Craig, I think a lot of people will have seen this one.
Well known.
And
If they haven't, I don't know what rock they've been hiding under.
yeah, exactly.
Dave saved money on his car insurance at Money Supermarket, and now he feels airhead.
It's actually worse now that I'm watching it.
Hey, darling, you're selling money supermarket.
So, what that ad has to do with car insurance, I'll never know. That's what I would love to know from you guys. Is, you know, I get, you know, if the guy was, you know, trying to promote them shoes or them, you know, bad dancing or them shorts or whatever, but how that is related to money supermarket and car insurance is just beyond belief. I think that's someone who's standing out from the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the branding exercise, isn't it? It's just if they're all their is when someone thinks about cars, they think about money. It's that I think the message of "You're so money supermarket" is they're trying to relate that to being epic. If I say money, I'm epic. I think that's what they're trying to do. But yeah, I don't know, because two sides of the coin that. Loads of people did stag do's dressed as that. So when they saw people out on stag do's, they remember money supermarket. You know, there are, but like you say, what has it got to do with car insurance? I think they're relying that everyone already knows that the brand is related to that.
Yeah.
And that maybe the name is self-explanatory. So yeah, you could. I don't know. They would probably argue that it was their most successful one. But we don't know, obviously, the stats behind it. Did it increase the amount of people on the site, or that sort of jazz? But totally get to do with it.
Yeah, and we say sort of like, you know, we've all seen it, which obviously comes to the point of view thing enough times, but then we'll still recall it.
Associate that guy with the brand. The music looks brilliant with it, and then Shop on Best.
Yeah.
I'd love to know if it had on that guy's gear.
Yeah. 7 years ago.
Obviously, seriously, and yeah, thought about the podcast.
We could put, you know, it was a couple of ad go